Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
My name is Tebogo Sethathu. I'm a composer, songwriter, singer, activist. Yeah, for those that are old enough would remember that. So it's good to be here. Thank you to Sarah for inviting me. And as you see, I've got legends in the house in the music industry. I've got Wanda Baloyi here. She grew up right in front of my eyes. And then I've got Hlengiwe Mhlaba, and I want us to have a conversation. And I was actually having an informal chat with Arthur Mafokate outside, and he was talking about how irrelevant this topic is here. And I wish he was here, and I would ask him, he owns technical equipment, he owns sound stage. How can this topic be irrelevant? Because of the events and technical services are a foundation for us to have a good show on stage, for these people to shine, for artists to shine. You need this backbone, which is the events and the technical industry. So I think he missed a point right there. So Mafokate, I'm challenging you, Father. So let's get into the topic. The relevance of the artist in this field of entertainment. And let me start with Hlengiwe. Let me take a cue from the previous panel. The heartbreaking story of Bob Craig Motor rights being owned by an international company. That's a serious matter. And I made a point in yesterday's session about the issue of copyright. So there's a problem with the African continent and African people. Because we like to orate, we don't protect ourselves when it comes to IP issues, intellectual property issues. And all industries are founded from there. If you don't own it, you can never ever monetize it. And that's what we need to really understand. So Hlengiwe, when it comes to you as a gospel musician, the issue of copyright, the issue of the ownership of your rights. I mean, in the recent past, there was this big story about how you were swindled of millions of rands of royalties. Some of us got into trouble because of we supported you on that. And I know the battle rages on. How important is this thing as an African woman?
Greetings, everyone. The issue of copyright, it's not only for musicians alone. It's for everyone who's in this room. Unfortunately, the copyright that we have in South Africa is for 1978. And if it's for 1978, we've got our rights organization, that is an NPC, that was started in 1963 by white men. So whatever that is going on there, we are not protected. There is a performance protection bill that we've been told about, but it doesn't protect us. Because if I record a CD here, or I record a song here, I have to send it to US first, for them to sell it to Africans for me. What? Yes, that's iTunes. That's Google, that's Disney. That's why we do not have, there's no music business anymore. We don't make money selling music because everything is so digital. But South Africa, it does not have any law for anything that is digital. So we are speaking about the fourth industry, but what about the laws of this country? South Africa has nothing that has to do with digitalization. Facebook doesn't have even a contract with South Africa. Instagram, there's no contract with South Africa. So what are we doing? So if you want me to talk on that subject, it's another subject. I was going to be very technical because I become an activist when it comes to that. I don't take anything. South Africa gave us a road deal. We are 25 years into democracy. For us, when they're doing anything, we have to get on stage and sing and dance like Abu Popa. When international stars are coming this side, no, I'll tell the truth because I'm a musician.
Yes.
You will be given tickets to eat, but international artists, they'll have rooms.
Promoters?
Where are the promoters? When you go to those rooms, there'll be securities, and those securities are South Africans. They'll be telling you, no, you can't pass here. You can't pass. I'm here to perform. It's the very same stage. And when it comes to musicians, our government will pay for everything, but when it comes to us, we have to negotiate every time we have to go to business with our promoters. But they do not negotiate with the stage guys. But when it comes to musicians, we need to negotiate. The budget is so. The budget. Don't make me an activist. I am.
Okay. Thank you, Sister Wanda. You are well known for being a live musician, more than a recording artist, even though you do record. With what Sister has just said, in terms of promoters or events managers or anybody government, when they can budget for anything else but the artist, and where you have to always be undercut in terms of your worth. How do we bring back the tools, the dignity back to the artists in this country, where they will be respected for their talent and be paid accordingly?
Good afternoon, everyone. Adding on to what she said, the question that was asked earlier was not answered, unfortunately, regarding the issues of how local artists are treated in festivals. That is the shit that happens all the time. It doesn't matter how big or small. Someone mentioned that it has to do with how big or how experienced the festival is. The bigger the festival, the worse it is. And that's standard. And unfortunately, that's a very bitter pill that we have to swallow. Another thing is, when it comes to adding on to that, when it comes to local artists having to want and demand their fee, which is what their rightful fee is. I mean, if you've put in the work, that's what you deserve. We always have to negotiate. Why are we negotiating? If this is your fee, that is your fee. So there's so many issues that have to do with being an artist and having to fight for what you believe you deserve. At the end of the day, you're called a bitch. You know, like, because ufuna what she wants. So I don't know who the question is directed to when it comes to the attitude of how we are treated. I see Rashid Lombard is there. You would know. You know what I mean? You've been part of the Cape Town International Festival, so you would know this is not issues that we're just coming up with for today. It's the things that have been there. Why are we still discussing this? Sadly, unfortunately, I was one to witness a situation at a festival where the late Brahu was, and he was on his way walking towards the stage, and there was a van with Joe, the American singer. The whole entire police force is surrounding this car, and they pushed Brahu out to the side. And I'm like, do you know who you're pushing? Do you know what I mean? And they didn't care. But that's what I'm saying. Why? At what point do you get to not even acknowledge your actions to your own when there's somebody that is not even from here? At what point do you feel you have the right to treat your own like that? You understand what I'm saying? With so much library of work that Brahu has done and many other artists that have contributed to building this industry and craft and everything, taking it around the world, we deserve much better than that.
Thank you for that. And just on that point, I mean, I'm told, and I knew Brahu personally, that in America, he's a star. Brahu cannot walk the streets like he walked in Joburg. So, which brings us back to the Africa Month, the continent, and our attitude towards ourselves, self-love or self-hate. So, it actually is a question that only us, in changing our attitude, we can answer, because we have self-hate as Africans. We admire stuff from outside, but we do not love ourselves more. I mean, Vuk spoke about we do not package ourselves, but I guess we do package, so it's a matter of government, number one, understanding who we are. You see, we need to move from arts for the art's sake, that we are all just about entertainment, but we are about the culture, the heritage of Africa. So I guess it's a painful thing that happens and gets experienced by every musician, but it goes back to who we are. So coming to the next question. The Copyright Amendment Bill, I don't want to dwell too much on the copyright, but as artists, how are the artists going to make sure that their stuff is protected? Questa is not here; he shouldn't be here. And I see, and when artists are doing quite well in the market, they kind of push the business side of things to somebody else and focus on performing, which is what the artist is all about. However, there seems to be a gap between the artist understanding that if you don't own it, if you don't own the rights, you're not going to monetize on it. And there will be days where things are dry. And then what? You're not going to get paid. Hlengiwe spoke about that, it's just like gold. We have gold, we had gold, we have gold, we've got minerals in Africa, and it gets dug by Europeans, they take it, they come and send it back to us in many forms. So how can we go over that hurdle of ensuring that we are empowered to a point of business that we understand that we cannot take any shit from anybody? To both of you.
I believe that as the artists, everybody who's here, technicians, and everyone, we need to stand united and speak to our government. Because whatever we can say, don't tell me that if the arts paper is still white after 25 years, there's a problem. The arts paper is white. The problem. So if we're talking about that, we need to be, I believe I love this conference, we talk about the technicality of which when you come in the industry from a church, you do not know how to hold a mic. That's number one. You're not taught how to hold a mic. And you do not know what's the difference between a mic, and you don't know whether this is a monitor, how does a monitor look like. It's a speaker to us. In church. So you don't see this as a monitor. You look at this mic, they say, this mic is and you're like, okay, sure, man. 360 or 280 do I get if I can hear myself? That's what this conference is all about. But when we come into copyright law, we really need, as art people, to get together and with one voice. Our government has taken us for granted. I will say it again, they have taken us for granted. 25 years is long enough for us to go and sing in inaugurations. If somebody dies, we are there to sing. If there is anything, we are there to sing. And the technicians, you are there, you are being bullied. No. The president, you shouldn't put this. This is president is coming here. They're going to come with dogs and snakes. You think this thing is not supposed to be here. No. We are sick and tired. Unless we come together. And also as artists, we don't look at technicians as if they are lesser people than us. True. Like when I travel in the one time with my bed, not in another half. I sleep where they sleep, because I'll never get to the stage without them there. Thank you. So we are equals. It's just that I've got a gift of singing. They've got a gift of making me sing nice.
Okay. Wanda?
Yeah, no. That is actually very, very true. I mean, with without each other, we are nothing at the end of the day. We all need each other to make this whole industry beautiful and make this industry exist to what it is today. Speaking of having to form a union, the thing is, musicians don't have a voice.
We don't have that
whole.
Sorry, because we are service providers when we are alive. When we are dead, we are national assets.
And another interesting point is that we've been part of groups as musicians, WhatsApp groups, where we're like, no, we've got issues, we're going to, fight these issues. But unfortunately, there's a hunger issue. Artists are hungry. So we don't have the time and energy to be fighting. And those that are full also don't have the time to be fighting for the hungry ones. So there's an imbalance, unfortunately. There's an imbalance, that's why we don't have this voice. And that's why the paper has been white for 25 years. Because the voices are not shouting the same thing.
On the white paper, can DTI and DHC make things right? Because that's why.
The DG is here.
DTI, DG is here? No, they cannot make the white paper green without DTI. Because our intellectual property is at DTI, but we are artists, it's at DAC. So if we can say DAC is going to do this, we are lying. We need DTI, we need Department of Communications, we need DAC, and we can only have that if the president can call a commission for them, for us, not anyone else.
Okay, all right, guys, but is it fair, would it be fair to say that because of what you've just said, artists failing to mobilize, and even those organizations that have tried, you find that they don't get as much support as from the artists, particularly those ones that are doing well at the time. And because they feel that, I'm fine, so I don't need to. Because of, artists by nature are individuals, are egoistic, and they don't want to mix, as long as I'm fine, I'm fine. So would it be fair now to actually blame government, who actually holds the key to our own liberation? Because we can blame government so many times. However, at the end of the day, those that are going to change the industry is ourselves for ourselves. So what do you think? Do you think we have a blame to take ourselves as well?
Of course we do.
I don't want to answer this question. Because there are people that are given money by the government. I don't want to call the names. That are supposed to be coming to artists. But that money, where does it go to? It's not like we're not trying. No. Tebogo, you had GMA. So don't tell me that there was nothing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Fine. I'm trying. That's why I said and we had so many things, so many people who want the money. But when the money is there, they won't go to us. They won't come to us to give us to tell us that, okay, if you can go to any artist right now, they've never read the white paper. They don't even know what is the copyright law. They don't even know what the performance protectors bill is. They don't know what's the amendment. That's who we are. We are very lazy when it comes to reading, but we want money. But it's either we stop being lazy and read to know who we are. From the start of this conference, there was this imbalance of that there is passion and there's also education. Yes. The problem is that we push passion more than education. We don't want the theory. Yet the theory will make us get what we deserve. The passion is there. Sure. It's given to us by God. Yes. But theory is for us to go out and learn. From there, we will get what is due to us. As long as we don't do that, nothing will come to us. But there are people that are being given money by our government to come to us.
Okay.
I'm not GMA. All that means GMA.
That's fine. No, that's fine. That's why we are here, because of, it's about transparency and accountability. So, a second follow-up question for those that are being given money by government. So, should we perhaps even taking the blame ourselves as artists to hold them to account, because it's our responsibility as artists for them to account?
I think it's an exhausting exercise.
Yeah.
It's a very tiring exercise because we have a voice to speak, like we're speaking now, but we don't have the power to make the change. You know, those people that have the power, that have the money, that have the means, that are running and regulating, they are the deciding factors. We are just the voices. We are the voices on stage, we are the voices off stage, we are the voices. But we don't have the power. Do you get what I'm saying? We've been to meetings at Sembro, we've been to meetings wherever money has been taken, decisions have been made with our monies, we're not told about that, but at the same time we're still there talking. So that's what I'm saying. Sometimes it's a very exhausting exercise in most cases. It's a very exhausting exercise, and unfortunately we're in a situation where we're having to deal with such things. We don't have a voice. Until we have a voice that can speak as one voice for musicians, maybe then we can have some sort of power, but we don't.
Okay, we need to wrap up because of time, but I want to ask, with the relevance to this conference particularly, research has shown that the musician today, the revenue, over 80% of the musician's revenue because of the digital age comes from live performances. So with the advent of the fourth industrial revolution, digital online stuff, how you as musicians are working it in that, you know, in spite of the challenges, to ensure that your revenue, you grow it in that live sector?
Personally, I feel that with being a live performer and an artist overall, we are forced to adapt to change, whether you like it or you don't like it. Finding ways in which to get your money, to get your music out there, because I mean hard copies don't work anymore, you know, we don't work in the era of selling CDs and actual hand copies. So now we have your iTunes, your Deezer, and all these things. So getting your music out there and making sure that you perform. Another thing with revenue is reinvention. Reinvention and staying relevant in some way. Staying relevant to what times are. I mean, I'm not, like you said, I mean, we grew up almost, I know I'm old, but it doesn't really show, but I'm there. But just having to go from then and how things worked then to how things work now, you know, the ability to adapt, yes.
Hlengiwe, your closing remarks?
When it comes to revenue, for us, how do we make revenue? I do believe as an artist, as a performer, your last performance will determine your next year. So if you don't take your last one as if it's the last one, you will never go anywhere. Your last performance will determine your next one. So when you perform to your utmost best. And when it comes to the fourth thing that you are talking about, we are not supposed to be talking about because it's digital. We are struggling with digital. So what's about the fourth thing that you're doing? We are doing. We're still on track. So we shouldn't be speaking about that. And I believe that for us to just sit and say, we're just going to make, there's two words that I'm not allowed to say in my church, that my sister said to Frank. We need to get to that part where we are angry and say, no digital platform will get into South Africa without going through to any digital platform that is South Africa. We need to, our government to stop any digital platform that is coming from outside. I will tell you this, because I'm old. We used to have cassettes. And then the way they finished the cassette, all the cars that they brought, they didn't have any cassette. Now they're finishing off the CDs. The cars that are coming now, they don't have a CD shuttle. So nobody, it's not that it's here who's killing our music. Nobody who's here is killing. Somebody somewhere else is killing us. So we need to stop them where they are. Because if you are killing us, no, if you're going to manufacture a car without a city shuttle for South Africans, what are you trying to do?
But isn't that a sign of innovation?
No, you don't, we need our money. You can innovate in your country. We are still second, we're not the fourth. So for us, we still need our cities. We don't have shops anymore. We can't say it's that our government needs to be saying, no, digital please. I don't even know the office of Apple even now. Where is it? If they don't pay me my iTunes, when they are being streamed, who's going to check for me? Who's going to administrate for me for the streaming at Deezer? Because Deezer is not here. Spotify is not even here. So we need not only our government, we also need ourselves to unite, and then our government will help us to bring the revenue. I'm not going to sit down and say, okay, I'll try the revenue on the live performances while somebody else is busy chowing my money, sitting down digitally. Because we're going to the fourth whatever. I believe we also need to do our part. And then the government will help us. But not that we are saying, government must do this for us, government. We are not talking about RTP houses here. We are talking about people who want to fly business class. You see, if you want to fly business class, read your paper, a newspaper at least. So that you know what's going on. So what I'm trying to say is that we need this. Sarah, it's just the South African roadies. Can you put us there as artists as well and have our causes so that we would understand this copyright, these amendment bills? Babu Fred, please can you put us to be part of this? Because right now we are outside. We are just outside. This is just a technical. You are technical for us. You are doing this for us. Can we be there and sit up courses where artists, you go there and you get qualified, you get NQF, whatever. As an artist, then we call you a professional artist. Because everyone is an artist. No mama gadongoma or whether yabona okayanje. Aishayele inzimbi zakhe ezenzela ukuhlaya uhlalo. That person is an artist. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your time. Titi, you are here, you are listening. You see how education in copyright and other stuff is so important and relevant. Thank you guys. Disruption is here. The fourth industrial revolution is here. We either accept it or we reject it. It's your decision. Thank you so much.